It's official. Brangelina is engaged. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie began their relationship back in 2005 while working on the film Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Soon those titles will be theirs off-screen as well. Here's NBC's Joelle Gargiulo.
As far as Hollywood couples are concerned, they don't come bigger than Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And now, after 7 years and 6 kids, they've got one huge announcement. He popped the question, and she said yes.
You know, for them to finally be admitting that they're engaged, that's huge.
Here's the picture that sent the rumor mill into a frenzy. Angelina at a museum donning a massive rock on her ring finger. I think I wanna marry you. But in the past, the pair has famously said they wouldn't wed until gay marriage is legal in the U.S. So when the picture surfaced, Hollywood couldn't believe it.
There have been rumors after rumors through the years that possibly, you know, could they get married? Are they engaged? But it was never the thing. It was never going to happen.
And then came the confirmation from Brad's manager.
Brad actually admitted earlier this year that the kids have been pressuring them to get married. And in fact, Brad's manager did confirm with us that the kids are very happy.
With a diamond like that, Angelina has got to be happy too.
And the best part, Brad helped design it.
This isn't the first engagement for either. The two first connected while shooting Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
So what do we do?
At the time, Brad was still married to Jennifer Aniston. Once they split, Brangelina was born. As for Angelina, she's no stranger to marriage either. She's been down the aisle twice before.
3 times is the charm for Angelina Jolie. I think she has definitely met the love of her life.
The pair is calling their engagement a promise for the future.
You know, their children really want to see mom and dad get married, and I think this is the perfect first step.
A first step that has left Hollywood with one last question. When will they say I do? For today, Joelle Gargiulo, NBC News, New York.
And Suzanne Zuckerman is a writer for People magazine. Suzanne, good morning.
Good morning.
So do we know how Brad popped the question?
We do know that Brad asked Angie to marry him at their home in Los Angeles, and they had a couple of hours to sort of revel in the moment while they waited for their kids to get home from school.
That's exciting. And then let's talk about the kids, because everyone is pointing to them as the reason why they're finally deciding to tie the knot. Is that true?
It really seems to be the case. You know, Brad and Angie have both said that in recent years, as their kids get older, they're, quote, putting on the heat, as Brad said. And, you know, Angelina admits that they see Shrek and Fiona getting married at the end of Shrek, and they ask her, you know, when are you going to marry Daddy? So they've really been a sort of driving force in forcing Brad to put a ring on it.
And speaking of the ring, we know that Brad collaborated with jeweler Robert Prokop for apparently an entire year.
Yes.
Wow, that took a lot of thought and effort. What do we know about the ring itself?
Well, Robert Prokop won't confirm the price or the size of the ring, but it's estimated to be between 10 and 18 carats. It is an emerald cut, gorgeous, flawless diamond, and it was designed specifically with Angelina's hand in mind. How decadent is that?
Wow, did he make a mold of it first? I wouldn't be surprised.
He's actually worked with Angelina for years, so they have a strong
So they already knew. All right.
Yes.
Now, they haven't set a date yet. Do we have any idea about perhaps what time of year, what their thought is, how long the engagement will be, given how long the pre-engagement has been? I guess it's anyone's guess?
It is anyone's guess. I mean, they have a lot of homes around the world, ties to many different countries. It could be at their chateau in France. It could be at their home in New Orleans. No matter what, though, it will be spectacular.
They swore they would never do it, but guess what? Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie have changed their mind about marriage. Pitt even gave a hint to Lee Cowan in January when he sat down for an interview on CBS Sunday Morning.
We're getting a lot of pressure from the kids.
Oh, yeah?
And, yeah, it means something to them. And they're, you know, they have questions when their friends' parents are married, and why is that? And
So what do you tell them?
we will someday. We will. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say
Get mommy a ring. Okay, I will.
Get mommy a ring. Pitt's manager confirms the couple is officially engaged. She has that ring. We're going to talk about that ring. Interesting, large. Joining us now is Marissa Guthrie, senior writer for The Hollywood Reporter, who broke this story. Marissa, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. So how did this happen?
Well, our wonderful style editors in L.A. got a tip that at this benefit on Wednesday night at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, Angelina was wearing a really noticeable diamond on her ring finger. And so we knew that she had worked with a jeweler named Robert Prokop before on a collection, and he confirmed it. And then Brad's manager confirmed it. So there we are.
And everyone was okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Brad is the one who designed this ring.
Yes, over a year. He was working with Robert Prokop for a year on this ring. Wow. And it's very much it's a tablet cut, which is Prokop's signature cut, and is featured heavily in the collection that he did with Angelina Jolie.
So I think it's interesting here that talking about the kids, you know, and that it was it was the pressure from the kids. I mean, they're in school, and other parents are married, and, and they're saying, why aren't your parents married?
They're wondering. They're old enough to notice what's going on. They know that their friends' parents are married, and they probably don't really understand the stance that Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt have taken, that they're not going to get married until everyone can get married.
Right.
Is this going to be a big wedding?
I doubt it. I mean, they've always been pretty private, so I can't imagine they would have a giant, ostentatious wedding.
And the other question is, so is it going to be Angelina Jolie Pitt, or is it going to be Angelina Pitt?
I think she'll
Brad Jolie?
Brad Jolie, I like that.
You think they'll both keep their...
I think they'll both keep their... I mean, the kids are Jolie Pitt, but I think she'll probably just keep her screen name.
So romantic of him to design it that way, right? So much pressure on...
The fact that it was going on for a year is what interests me.
Pressure is now on all men
to
spend a year designing rings for their fiancés. So... Get busy, guys.
You heard it here first. Marissa Guthrie, thank you so much.
From Hollywood, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are finally going to get married, something that many people thought would never happen. But then Angelina was spotted with some serious new bling. ABC's Cecilia Vega has more.
They have a ring. They definitely have their pick of ring bearers and flower girls. One thing they don't have, a date. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are headed down the aisle. Brad's rep tells ABC News, yes, it's confirmed. It is a promise for the future, and their kids are very happy.
America doesn't have a royal family, so they follow the top celebrities as the royal family.
This A-list of all A-list power couples had said they would only marry each other when everyone in America could legally wed. But their 6 children have been hounding them to make it official.
And we've explained to them that our commitment when we decided to start a family was the greatest commitment you could possibly have. Once you have 6 children, you're committed. You're committed.
Brad did more than just pop the question to the woman he's been tied to ever since they played husband and wife 7 years ago in Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Perfect timing.
As always.
He designed the ring. Yes, this ring. Angelina wore it recently in Los Angeles, their son Pax by their side. It took a full year to create and is reportedly worth a whopping $250,000. Pitt worked with Beverly Hills jeweler Robert Prokop. No stranger to the bride-to-be's taste in bling, they designed a jewelry line together, and she's worn his pieces everywhere from the red carpet to the big screen. Angelina's once-estranged father, John Voight, is already sending his congratulations, telling Us Weekly, I'm very happy for them. All that's left to officially pronounce them Mr. and Mrs. Brangelina. For Good Morning America, Cecilia Vega, ABC News, New York.
And here with more dish on all things Brangelina is People magazine senior writer Joey Bartolomeo. Good morning, Joey. Now, we don't know when or how this happened, but why now? We know that the kids were kind of pushing them to take this plunge.
Right. It really seems like that's the reason why they did it. The kids have been bugging them to get married, and they said when it meant a lot to the kids, they would do it. And so it seems like now's the time.
Now is the time. Now, they say that this is a promise for the future. Any idea when they will walk down the aisle?
No, they're not talking about dates yet or anything, but you know, you have to think about it. If the kids want this to happen, I doubt they'll make the kids wait too long.
Both eccentric types. What type of wedding do you think that they will have?
You know, they're a very private couple, and so they'd likely go for something very intimate, really just family members, probably somewhere unexpected. You know, they live in houses all over the world, so they could do it at one of those places or somewhere we don't even know yet.
Small, intimate. What about the wedding party? Any A-listers in that wedding party?
Probably not. Probably family members. And, you know, Angelina is not a traditional woman. She could have her brother be her man of honor.
Oh, I could see that. What about, like, maybe a George Clooney involved? somehow.
You know, George Clooney and Brad, they're friends, but Brad also has a brother he's really close to, so it seems like he'd be more likely to be in the wedding party.
Okay, tell us about the ring. We know that Brad collaborated with that jeweler for nearly a ring to design it. How much is it worth?
You know, it seems like he spared no expense. They sought out the diamond for this ring. The jeweler shaped it perfectly to suit Angelina's hand. They worked for about a year on this. So, you know, I think it's definitely something he invested a lot of money in.
Will she become Angelina Pitt? That remains to be seen.